This is Hidden Killers with Tony Brueski. Here now, Tony Brueski.
Well, it's probably time we talk about the show. Unknown Number, the High School Catfish on Netflix. Lots of people are buzzing about this. Carol Hughes been buzzing about this, and I sat down and I watched it, and I swear to God, honestly, the first 45 minutes, I'm like, why am I watching this, Carol? What are we?
Because I'm like, you've got to watch this.
Well, it's like all high school drama at first,
right,
and you're like,
right.
And like, of course, kids are doing this and saying horrible things to each other. We used to do it through little notes that we would, like fold up in origami shapes and pass to each other in the hall like we're doing a drug deal or something. And now it's digital, and it can be far worse and far more damning because this sort of stuff, it's not just in a hallway. It intrudes into your life. It intrudes into every single inch of it. And the level to which this thing went.
Oh, it's disturbing. The messages that they got were very graphic, very sexual.
Yeah.
In a really gross way.
And it makes it even more disturbing when you end up learning where it all came from.
Yeah. So if you don't want a spoiler alert, heads up.
There will be a spoiler in this. We won't spoil it quite yet, but there's a lot in this. It all to kind of set the scene. If you've not seen this documentary on Netflix yet, it was a small, tight-knit community. Beal City, Michigan is where it all takes place. Lauren and Licari, who is 17, and her boyfriend Owen were the golden couple, if you will, of the high school. Good students involved in school. Everyone thought they were headed for bright futures. They had friends. They're attractive. They're some of the popular kids, I guess is what you would say. And then in 2020, texts started coming in. Lauren and Owen began getting anonymous texts individually onto their phones. And before your eyes glaze over on this going, oh, this is teenage, follow along, okay? Because this is not teenage stuff. This will get crazy, trust me. At first, they just kind of seem like silly pranks, so maybe like jealous classmates, maybe friends goofing around. But it wasn't taken super seriously. It was kind of weird. Like, why is somebody this obsessively sending me these texts? But by 2021, the text became constant, 40 to 50 messages a day. And they weren't harmless jokes. They were filled with insults, lies about Owen cheating. So the girl was receiving these Owen's cheating messages and disturbing commands telling Lauren to go kill herself. So you're here, you're getting this. And if you're that girl and you're receiving this information from this source that's saying that, oh, he loves me, not you. You can't really figure out who it could be because he's not doing anything with anybody else, at least not that you're aware of. I mean, what is going through your mind at 17 hearing something?
Oh my God, yes. Because that is such an insecure age to be, because there's all kinds of drama between the kids. And so you assume this is one of your classmates. Why did they hate me so much? Is this how everybody feels about me? They also called her anorexic, which is really also very bothersome and triggering. And, kill yourself. Could you say anything worse to somebody than that? And so you're right. Like when I was watching it too, I was the same way, like, oh, high school drama, this is not for me.
Yeah.
But once I got into it, I'm like, I would like to know who's doing this. And so that's after I watched it, I'm like, oh my God, you've got to see this. It's just, and it's saying some of the worst things I've ever read. And not just to the girl, to him as well. Like it was extremely sexual to him.
And I think that's important to understand of just how dark these messages were to this young girl and to him too. The stress eventually cracked their relationship. They started to get in fights, and Owen eventually, you're in high school. I mean, it's not the end of the world to break up with somebody, but it feels bad if you're breaking up for a reason that has nothing to do with that relationship. But he eventually just suggested, let's just break up. Let's see if the bullying would stop.
I
But
didn't.
no, not even that. Even after that split, the harassment actually intensified. So you got to be thinking, okay, I did what you wanted. We broke up. Now what? Why is this still going on? Why does somebody still feel the need to harass me in this way? And there's the anonymous portion of this, the anonymity of being able to do it, because these texts are coming in. If someone's going, well, just look up who is sending it. It's a random number generator that was being used to create these fake phone numbers. If you didn't know you can do that, yes, you can do that. Takes a little bit of knowledge, I guess, on how to do it. Might even cost some money if you're going to use a service that creates that sort of thing. So it's kind of interesting that a high school kid's going to even have knowledge of it, but or have the funds to, like, I'm going to spend money on this, to use a service that would fake these numbers coming in, because they would block them. You think, well, just
they would block them, and then they would just come through a different number. It's kind of like spam, how you get a spam one and you block it, but then next day you're gonna still, I want to buy your house. Yeah.
And we're sometimes the emails like, well, this looks like it's from a legitimate address, but it's really not. It's a fake one that's basically, it's a mask is what's going on. So as soon as somebody would block this, these texts would keep coming in, and eventually people started talking, because it was nuts. Nobody could figure out who is doing this, and everyone is trying to figure out who is doing this, because they're upset. Like, this is horrible. This shouldn't be happening to these kids. They're good kids. There's no reason for these horrible things to be said. It's a small town environment. Everyone's watching. Everybody is spreading the gossip. 40 to 50 texts a day is kind of a lot when it comes to something like this, especially if it's not somebody you're actively having a conversation with. That's a one-way, let me insult you and say horrible things to you all day. So these things keep coming in, impersonating others, manipulating existing insecurities that seemingly the texter knew about. Which was even creepier, because it would speak to not just something that, is a rumor, or you would have general knowledge of a person. This person was sending these horrible texts, like in the middle of games, in the middle of events where these kids are participating. So the person has to be there, or someone is giving information to someone on the outside that would then tell them, okay, this is what you should say. I mean, if you're that much of an operation to shame a 17-year-old girl for dating her boyfriend, or shame the boyfriend for dating this young girl. Parents, teachers, everybody was very upset, trying to figure out exactly what the hell was going on. It'd be a very helpless feeling.
And it intentionally framed other children.
Yeah.
They're still children, This was going on while they're sophomores, juniors in high school. And so everybody then becomes really suspicious of everyone else at school. I think they're like watching at each other when they're texting and using their phones. It's like, is that when she got a message? And so there was people who were really suspected of sending these messages.
The school was checking their cameras. They were trying to look at the timestamps of when a message was sent, and then if on the security cameras they could see if any of the kids maybe be on their phone at that moment in time. Surprise, they're all on their phone at that time.
So everybody's a suspect.
When you looked at the security camera, every single one of them are walking down the halls like this, just and somehow navigating. I think, if anything, what cell phones are doing for us, they're creating a sense of sonar like bats have and ants have. So we can now navigate the environment around us.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Without looking up. How did that happen? Cell phones. They brought out our psychic sense of knowing what is around us. You do wonder sometimes how some of these kids navigate, and they're not looking up. It's like, how do you know to turn right here? It's kind of spooky. Would the relationship have survived without the cyber pressure, or was it doomed once trust eroded? Well, I guess I would ask anyone who's had a high school relationship, are you still with that person?
Right. Like 1% chance.
There's like, some people are, but not a whole. I mean, it would have ran its course very likely, but it didn't have to run it this way. It didn't have to run it with trauma mixed into both of these kids' lives.
It could have just been a fun high school sweetheart situation.
Yeah.
You know, lots of people had that sweetheart. You look back on it and fondly, usually, sometimes, not always, but you know, it's a growing experience. You learn a lot from your high school sweetheart. See him at the reunion and you're like, he doesn't look so good, but I do, you know, sort of thing. But you know what I'm saying? It could have it should have just been a high school sweetheart situation. Should have been.
Want more on this case and others? Then press subscribe now and don't miss a moment of true crime coverage from Tony Brueski and the Hidden Killers podcast.